Good morning. All right. Chapter 13. Paul counsels, Paul counsels, be subject unto God ministers. Keep the commandments, love one another. Righteousness leads to salvation. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore, ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing. Render them therefore to all their dues. Tribute to whom tribute is due. Custom to whom custom. Fear to whom fear. Honor to whom honor. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as themselves. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. How are you, bro? Great, how are you? I'm doing swell. Okay. So, Paul counsels. He counsels means he's consoling everyone. He's getting everyone included in the conversation. Be subject unto God, unto God's ministry. Be subject. Be a subject. Okay. Be a topic to God's ministers. Be someone that God can talk about, or God's ministers can talk about. Keep the commandments. Love one another. Righteousness leads to salvation. So yeah. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God, the powers that be ordained of God. So let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. So your soul. So your soul let every soul allow your soul to be a topic unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God. Because God is gonna cover everyone. There is no power but of God. God is the ultimate power. So anything that trickles down from Him doesn't do it without His power. The powers that be are ordained by God. So it's an ordinance. It's in a sequence. It's allowing things to be unfold. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. So if you resist the power, you resist the allowing things to be revealed. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So you're gonna shall receive to themselves down. You're gonna ruin yourself. For rulers are not a terror to good works. For rulers are not but to evil. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. So whoever are rulers, the ones that make the rule, are not a terror to good. Rulers are not a terror to good works. They're not afraid to good works. Rulers are not a terror to good works. So if good works is on one side and the other side is terror, they're not. Rulers are not a terror to good works. But to evil, which wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? So will thou then not be afraid of the power? Okay. So rulers are not trying to put rulers are not trying to put fear to good works. Rulers are not trying to put fear to good works. So but to evil. They're trying to put fear to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Wouldn't you not be afraid of the power if they're not um, they're not attacking, they're not a terror. If they're not they're not frightening to you. Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. If you do what is good, then you'll have the same praise that rulers receive. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. He's the minister of God for you for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. Be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God. For he beareth not the sword in vain. He beareth not the sword. He beareth not the sword. So he's not. It's like he's not afraid to use the sword, but it's like he's not so high-minded that he won't use the sword. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Where a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. So you can't upon him that doeth evil. So don't worry, if you don't do a revenger to execute upon. So yeah, he's not, you can't be afraid to use your power, and don't be afraid when rulers use their power, because he's only doing it to bring upon wrath upon those that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but